This interview is brought to you by NTT Data. NTT Data delivers on your mission by combining superior talent and over 55 years of government expertise with a comprehensive portfolio of technologies from cloud, security, and consulting to modernization and IT solutions. We're your ideal partner for reimagining your healthcare IT. Visit nttdataservices.com.
Hi, we're here with Dr. Paul Tibbits, Executive Director of the Office of Technical Integration at VA. So great to sit down with you today, sir.
Thank you.
So what are your top priorities over this next year?
For the next year? I'd say, digital transformation, but the aspect of it that I am most interested in is, let's call it citizen empowerment, staff empowerment. The citizen developer, if you will, if you look at that kind of use case. So upskilling the VA staff, could be veterans for that matter also, with respect to digital literacy, healthcare literacy. So they are, staff and veterans are more empowered to take care of themselves, do more for themselves, make smarter decisions.
Great venue to learn some best practices here, especially in the melding that commercial world with the VA.
Well, it is. Certainly, the exhibit floor is evidence of that with, lots of tools that come to the market. But for the consumer empowerment, one has to know how to properly use those tools. So there's more to it than just tools, right? So some thinking is in order. And I would say one additional thing that I think we've needed for a long time and still do is to humanize the technology, human-centered design. So on top of all this, I think we need to devote more energy in thinking about how we're going to shape these tools that are here to better advantage for the end user, the VA staff, and certainly veterans.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, of course, one could extend that to the citizen empowerment even beyond the VA, right? But right now, my priority is to focus on those notions as they apply to the VA.
Okay, absolutely. How do you see emerging technology impacting what you're focused on? I know that's a big theme here at HIMSS this year with AI and the emergence of that. So where do you see it?
Well, the first impact is speed, which is the speed with which new technology is emerging is getting faster. The uptake of generative AI by the general public is faster than any other technology in history. It's dramatic. And that itself is a new technology. But that is also going to speed up the adoption of other technologies because it itself is new and it itself is coming on very fast, but it's also going to help people learn about other stuff even faster.
Sure.
So that's one. The other is, I guess, what people would refer to as the digital divide, which is, again, if we're not thoughtful about this and give sufficient consideration to the downside, we could well widen the digital divide and make the distance between the haves and the have-nots worse than it is now. There's already a massive concentration of AI power in a small segment of industry.
Sure.
So that's already there. And I'm concerned that there's, on the industry side, a lot of have and have-nots already. But from the personal perspective, we all have a opportunity and responsibility to educate ourselves, our colleagues, our kids, our grandkids. If we don't do that, we are going to be on the wrong side of the digital divide as well, not just industry. So I think we have to face that personal responsibility, which is much more true now, I think, than with any technology that's come along in the past. If you weren't computer literate before, that was not good,
right.
But it wouldn't necessarily sink your career. not being AI literate could well sink your career.
Sure. I know you're speaking later about digital twins.
That's right.
How are you seeing that technology impacting, I guess, what you're focused on at VA?
Well, it's an example of people power, same, inherent. And of course, anyone could provide a digital twin. I can talk more about what that is in a minute. But part of the people power story there is that each individual would take control of their own digital twin. So I myself would decide who can have access to what data about me. So I become the interoperability hub. I become the control point. I become the cybersecurity framework myself because I own and operate the digital twin of me. Now, I could certainly designate some trusted entity to run it for me. Many people have stockbrokers and that kind of stuff, and there's a trusted relationship there. So it doesn't necessarily have to be running in my home. It could be running at a solution provider somewhere, the one that I pick, one that works for me, and one that does what I tell them to do.
Sure, absolutely. What are you hoping to learn here at HIMSS? What goals do you have, or something you're looking to glean from industry about?
Well, I'd say HIMSS is a big piece of it, but also Gartner. It happens to be going on this week as well, so that was quite fortuitous for me, because with one trip I could go to both places. But here at HIMSS, I'd say certainly networking with industry, which I've done some of today, to test the waters on what the thinking is out there with respect to either digital twins or artificial intelligence or Gen AI, more specifically. I just learned this morning, for example, that in the single-payer model for healthcare in Australia, as an example, because of that, society accepts that notion. They essentially already have a digital twin established for their citizens, and in that instance, because of the relationship of the citizens to the government, that digital twin has to be provided by the government. But insofar as the content is concerned, it's all your healthcare interventions, your diagnoses, your treatments, etc., plus your taxes and a bunch of other stuff that are very relevant to you as a person, but not necessarily related to your health, unless you want to consider the social determinants of health. But so it's actually a person record. Wow. So it's quite interesting. But again, it's a single-payer environment, and it's a society that accepts that as the norm.
Absolutely. Well, it's fascinating. Well, thank you, Dr. Tibbits, for sitting down with me and getting a glimpse into some of the things going on at VA.
Great. Thank you so much.